Hello. So, if you are paying attention to the news, and of course, I try to limit my attention as much as I can, I'm sure you've seen or heard that pundits, experts are telling us that we are heading into a recession. Some think we're already there. So, I wanted to make sure that I shared with you some tips on the kind of content that you want to make sure that you are creating in order to help you survive this recession or in a recessionary environment and thrive beyond it. Because that's the beauty of content. It really lives forever. Even if you delete it, you've got it all over places. You don't know where it's been shared. So content is just a fantastic marketing tool and provides really high return on investment. So I have notes, of course, that are on my other monitor. So I'm going to be going back and forth. I've got some things on my desk here. So I might be, shaking my head here. I'm going to trust that you're going to follow along. So I am in the StreamYard app. You may see a link asking you to grant access to StreamYard. And when you click on that, granting them access only allows them to see your name, image, and likeness. And it will then hopefully show up in my dashboard, which is what I'm looking at right now, my StreamYard dashboard. StreamYard's fantastic tool to allow you to go live. I would normally be broadcasting to the Book of Faces, as one of my coaches calls them, and YouTube as well as other locations, but I'm in jail right now. So that's why I'm broadcasting only on YouTube. I have a few more, I think I have a week to go before I get released. So if I don't respond to you right away, I promise I will circle back and take a look at your question or comment later today. Today is the last day of my vacation with my sisters. So they're in town staying at my house. So I've been playing hooky in the afternoons with them. My name, of course, is Winnie Anderson. If you're not familiar with me, I'm a brand and content strategist. I work with service-based businesses to help them nail their message, get their message out in a bigger, more powerful way. Excuse me. So they're able to attract more of their best qualified clients who show up ready to buy, ready to take action. My clients shorten their sales cycle. The selling becomes easier, becomes more fun because you're not really selling. You're creating content and marketing collateral that helps your buyers decide to buy. So you're pre-selling through the use of content and other digital marketing tools. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. As I said, we are hearing all this buzz that we're in a recession, that we're going to be in a recession. And of course, we're seeing a big spike in inflation. Inflation can trigger a recession because more of people's income and revenue goes towards typically necessities, right? And we're seeing a big spike in groceries. We're still dealing with some supply chain issues over the pandemic, which of course is ongoing in peaks and valleys. And we're also seeing, of course, a legendary spike in gas prices. So when you're diverting your revenue to those kinds of costs, whether we're talking about you as an individual consumer, which we all are, or we're talking about you as a business owner, you're paying more for the supplies with which you do business. You may, if you have gas involved in in the work that you do, you're paying more for gas. So, excuse me, as people divert their income, like I said, that can then cause a recession because they don't have revenue and income to spend in other ways. That creates problems and a ripple effect in other industry segments, and hence you end up in a recessionary environment, whether or not you're in an official recession or not. A recession is actually sustained impact in reduced GDP, gross domestic product. And that decline, is a certain number of months, how many months? Nobody really knows, but usually it's referred to as 2 quarters, 2 consecutive quarters in a year, in a calendar year. How long does a recession last? Could be a blip, could be an extended period of time. They're all not nice, of course, and one of the problems with that is just talking about it and then taking action to protect yourself can trigger the same kind of conditions that we really don't want. So it's important for us as business people not to ignore reality, but not to get real panicky. And for me, personally, I've always found that taking action, it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing something because you want to do what you can control. You don't want to worry about what you can't control. So what can you control? You control your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs, and you can control the marketing that you're doing. One knee-jerk reaction that businesses tend to have in a recessionary environment is they start to cut back on marketing. This is a colossal mistake because people need to remember that you're out there. They need to think of you and think of you first. People are not buying, right? They don't stop buying, but they may delay their purchases. So let me share with you, first of all, how buyers react in a recessionary time, and then how you can, I'm going to give you some content ideas to help you overcome that kind of hesitancy to buy. Let's put it that way. So some of the things that buyers will do is buyers are always subconsciously, a lot of times, putting a purchase in a mental category. And that becomes more conscious in a recessionary time. So here's how they react, and here are the categories that they put it in. You can probably start hearing this as I describe it. So buyers may make do, right, with their current situation, whatever that situation may be. I'll give you a silly example. We need a new toaster. Well, I haven't quite gotten around to buying one yet. And the switch on our toaster, which must be 30 years old easily, it doesn't always, lock. When you push it down, you know how a toaster works. So you press it down and it pops back up, the knob, right, the handle. That's so annoying. And we've tried fixing it as best we can, and you just keep doing it, and you have to repeatedly do it. Okay, I need to buy a new toaster. Is a toaster a big expense? Not really, but there's an aggravation level involved in buying a toaster, and there's actually a lot of options on the market. My sister is going to be moving in with us, so do I need a bigger toaster than I already have? And if I'm going to get a toaster, should I get a toaster oven, which is a bigger purchase than just your standard $15 toaster, right, with 2 slots? So I'm going to put that off and make do with my current situation. And I know that's a crazy example, but that's the kind of stuff that we all have to deal with. And that's another example of how buyers are rationalizing making a purchase. Our lives are full of problems, right? So we're trying to solve the most pressing problem in the moment. The toaster problem is really pretty minor in the big scheme of things, and it's only a problem when I want to make toast, and I don't make toast that often. So, but my husband, that's a bigger issue. He makes toast a lot, and I have to listen to that button. So, can I make do with my current situation? Yes. Your buyers, remember now, think of this from your perspective. Your buyers are asking themselves the same thing. So they might repair things. And I mentioned that we tried fixing our toaster as much as they could. So they might just replace the thing. And this relates to services too that you provide. If they felt more confident, they might pick up the phone and call you and work with you. If they just felt more confident in general, and I'll talk about confidence in a minute. In a recessionary environment, it's common to get more quotes than maybe you otherwise would, because maybe you're not really worried about money, and you just go, yeah, that sounds right, which is also how buyers deal with their pricing. That sounds right. It feels okay. It doesn't make me go, ouch. Yeah, I'm not going to go get different quotes. I'm just going to go with you. You seem like a reasonable person, right? So in a recessionary environment, though, they want to get more quotes. They want to feel like they're they're doing their due diligence. So they might get multiple quotes, the old 3 quotes thing, right? They may do without themselves in order to provide for others. So, for example, as maybe you are a mom. I'm not a mom, I'm a stepmom to adult children, so I don't have to worry about that. But I'm a pet parent. The pet segment, the pet industry, is one that has never taken a dip, even in the big recession back in 2008, 2007, where the tied to the financial market crash. And as we've gone along, people don't cut back on what they spend for their pets. Pets still need health care. Pets still need the food that we provide them, the treats, the toys, etc. So will people postpone? Will your buyers postpone making that purchase because they feel that's a sacrifice they're willing to make? So they have revenue to put towards something else, right? If I was going to buy, I don't want to say this too loud, if I was going to buy a new computer, I would probably then put that money towards my computer because that's my business, but I would make cutbacks somewhere else in my budget to free up those funds to allow me to buy a really great computer. Don't get it cheap. Also, they might think about, they might only buy what they feel is necessary and cut out things that they feel are luxuries. We'll talk about that in a second. They might be more focused and concerned on return on investment. So they might be hesitant to take a risk or do kind of an experiment. They want to be focused on things that are tried and true and proven because they want to be confident that when they spend this money, take this action, they're going to get this payoff. They want to be really certain that they're going to get that return on investment, and that makes them more risk aware and more risk averse. So if you're not the big brand, the go-to in your industry segment, you're going to want to make sure that you're investing time and energy to continue to build that brand to your market, in your industry, so that you are seen as a top-notch, high-quality solution provider and the best that your target can afford. Okay, so those are kinds of the reactions that buyers have in a recessionary environment. Let's talk quickly about the categories of purchases and then some ideas for content. And I've shared other messages that relate to this. So if you want to get links to those recordings, that content, just let me know in the comment area and I'll be happy to share them with you. So purchases tend to be categorized in one of 4 ways. Sorry, I'm having a major allergy attack. The essentials, right, which used to be one of my favorite shows on Turner Classic Movies. The essentials. These are things that are must-haves. For me, it's a computer, it's office equipment, it's whatever is necessary to run the business or within their life, right? You got to have clothes detergent. You might try and figure out a cheaper brand maybe to use, but you have to have it. So what are essentials? These are things that are necessary for survival. They're perceived as being central to their well-being, central to their success, central to a great life. These decisions relate to values that your buyers have. Treats. This is something that is considered an indulgence. It might be a minor luxury to them, and it's something that they can justify, right? We're going to go out this afternoon and we're going to have a treat. We're going to have ice cream today, and which is a treat, and it's not something I usually eat because I adore it and will eat too much. So that's a treat, and I'm justifying it by, it's my sister's last day with me. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna have ice cream. So that's the kind of thinking that people go through to rationalize a purchase. Because of course, I know I should be having a salad. So that's what we do. We rationalize a purchase so we can make that purchase easily with our mind and with our money. Next is postponables. These are things, they're needed or wanted, but I can put that off. My toaster is a good example. There are other things that are examples of things that you can put off, right? So what would be, oh, here's one. So for me, another postponable, sneakers. I need a new pair of sneakers, but you know what? I keep postponing because of the effort involved. I got to try them on. I got to try on multiple pair. buyers. I got to find a store that has the brand I want. I hate having to return stuff. So again, these are all the thoughts that people will go through to rationalize postponing making that purchase. So you really want to think about this with what you sell, what you offer, and take yourself through this. Do people see this as an essential? Is it really is essential to their survival and to their thriving? Is it a treat? Is it a luxury? Something that they see as an indulgence? Or is it something that they could really live without, and therefore they can kick that decision can down the road? Finally is the expendable. This is a purchase that is believed to be unnecessary or unjustifiable, and therefore can be cut from their current purchasing habit or eliminated from their planned purchases until their confidence has increased. So a couple of examples here. So an expendable, a lot of people are cutting cable and they're going just with streaming and just with internet access. We debate that all the time in my house, and I am long since ready to go with just streaming. So people will make this decision. And again, all of these decisions relate to the values that they have. If you would like more information about buyers' values and how they make decisions, how buyers make decisions, how their values and decision drivers impact their decision, just let me know, say, decision drivers, whatever, values in the comments, and I will get back to you somehow and share that information with you. Again, I know we're broadcasting solely on YouTube right now, so I do need to share that, and I'll track you down and find a way to let you know how to get that information. So expendables is something in their existing budget that they're trying to conserve money for, right? That's a monthly, that's considered like an overhead cost. You're paying your cable bill every month. Can you reduce that? About a year ago, I switched cell phone providers and saved $100 a month. Wow, right? So that's a lot of money. Maybe $5 isn't enough to move somebody, but $100 a month, yeah, I'm switching, right? So you want to think about, is what you offer something that somebody would consider expendable? You may see people like, I have a client who runs a martial arts studio. She may have clients who decide, I can't afford that monthly payment, that's expendable, and I'm going to put that X number of dollars a month towards something else in my budget. So think about that. Can your buyers define you as expendable? Now, you want to make sure that your content is addressing all of these issues, because you want to be in the essential category. At a minimum, you want to be a justifiable treat, right? Maybe working with a coach, if you're a coach, is considered justifiable treat. And how can you help them say yes and not say, no, that's expendable, right? So let's look at the kind of content that you need to provide. And I'm writing a big guide for this. So if you want that, a link to where that is, say guide, and I'll make sure that you get the link at some point. So, and in the guide, I'm giving a lot more action steps. So the kind of content that you want to focus on is the kind of content that people are searching for the answer to. Because we know, like I said, buyers don't really stop buying. They just go through this decision-making process. It becomes a little more elaborate, and they are still looking for answers to their questions. They're looking for solutions to their problems. So you want to make sure that you're creating content that falls in what I call the WAQ category, and that's the want to ask question. We know FAQs are frequently asked questions. SAQs are the should ask questions, and that content is, all this content is important. Should ask content, though, is really important as well, because it can really help in the buying decision process. But the WAQ, the want to ask question, this is the kind of stuff that is really close to the buying decision. FAQs tend to be up around the beginning, the research process. I'm just starting to think about solving this problem. So the key is you want to create content that is closer to their buying decision along the buying journey. And if you want information about the buying journey, say buying journey, and I'll get back to you about that as well. So WAQ questions. Let's look at what examples are for that. One is price. Let's face it, it's a fact. People want to know how much something costs. No one wants to get in a conversation with a salesperson, then discover, or a vendor, a business owner, and a salesperson, and find out that what they now want is way out of their budget. They're unwilling or unable to spend that money. That's an uncomfortable position to be in, to have to then say, oh, you know what, I can't afford that. Or I don't want to, I don't feel it's a good use of my money right now. That's an uncomfortable position to be in. So people are going to avoid that. So do yourself a favor. Don't get into that conversation with them. Share content on your website, part of your marketing collateral, that helps them see and then start to rationalize that decision on their own. Then they reach out to you, at least with a ballpark of how you price. Now, you might be thinking, but my prices are all different. Okay, I'm sure they are if you provide custom quotes. But there are things you use in your pricing that help you come up with that final quote. Tell people that. There's probably a minimum that you, back in the 70s or 80s, I think it was, Linda Evangelista, a supermodel, famously said, I don't get out of bed for less than $10,000 a day. So there's probably a minimum amount of money that you must have from a project or a client in order to make it worth your while. So say that. I work on projects that are X size for the following clients, and they start at X amount of money. Okay, better to let that person say, you know what, that's not right for me. And maybe you even say, if you aren't ready for that investment, you can buy a course, you can buy a book, here's my other options for you, or I share free content, connect with me and get my free content, right? That's kind of, I think of it as growing your customers. So you want to really focus on the WAQ. So number one is price. How do you price? What's it cost, etc. I know people tell me I don't want my competitors to discover my price. I got news for you. They're going to discover it if they really want it. There's enough data out there to figure on average you're going to charge X. Stop worrying about it. I saw a great quote in a book that said, who's running your business? You or your fears? Are you running your business for your clients and potential clients, or are you running your business and creating marketing for your competitors or your haters? Stop thinking about them. Stop focusing on them and focus on the buyer who really wants this information, right? Don't make it hard to work with you or to find out information about you. Okay, so price is a big WAQ. Another big WAQ is, how do I make this decision? People probably don't buy your service that often. So help them to figure out how to make a decision about who is the best solution provider for them. I know a consultant who no longer pays for recorded courses, which are usually cheaper than the live. She said, I don't care, because I know I learn best live. That's because learning is an interactive experience, but I digress. So she's willing to spend more money for that live experience. And to be honest with you, most people learn best in a live interactive environment. They want to work with you, or they want to have that big live experience if you're involved in teaching or coaching or consulting. So think about helping your buyer understand how to make a choice. So you could say, let's say you're a course provider or some kind of expert, and you do live stuff and you offer the recorded thing. You could simply say how to decide if this live event is for you. Do you learn best in an interactive environment? Do you want to have feedback about your, on your work? Do you want, so help them go, Yeah, I do. Okay, so now I have to figure out how to buy this because we know we will spend money for that which we really value. So you have to help them tap into their own values so they see the worth, the value of what you're offering. Okay, and you're doing this in a variety of ways. You've got landing pages, you've got individual pages on your website, articles, you've got blog posts. How you structure that content depends on what it is you're creating. I mentioned earlier that I'm working on an article about this, and it's really a guide. It started out as just a list of tips and strategies on how to survive and thrive in a recession, and before I knew it, it's taken me a whole week to work on, and it's turned into a full-blown guide. So say guide if you want a link to that when I have it ready, because it's taken longer than I thought. So what other WAQs are out there? So there's one is price, the other is connected to the benefits that you provide, helping people decide to buy. That may mean also, how do I choose a solution? How is your course, program, your offering, your service, your thing, how is it better than anything else out there? So now you could do a rundown of, maybe you do a review of all the other solutions out there. And because let's face it, there are big name people out there, right? There are big brands in every little pond. So it's up to you to take the initiative and learn about your competitors and what other people, what your prospects see as your competition, and be ready to answer that. And remember, doing nothing is often that's often your competitor. Your competitor is not just the other person across town who does what you do. It's the person across the country. It might be the person on the other side of the world. It could also be nothing. It's a book. It's whatever it is in your, for the solution you provide. So you want to think about that and make sure that you help them understand their options and help them recognize which one is best for them. Pre-selling, which is what I talk about all the time in the strategy that I advocate, pre-selling involves helping people decide to buy. It does not involve traditional selling, does not involve convincing, strong arming, etc. All right, so we've been talking about, let me scroll through my big old guide here and look at some other content that you need to create. You want to answer the 3 big why questions that they have. Not necessarily in this order, but why you, why this, and why now? Your content, whether it's your about page, your overall look and feel of your website, your testimonials, case studies, all proof elements, all of those things feed into why you, helping to answer the question, why you? The why you also speaks to the style that you have and how you do the work you do, because somebody might not like your style. They might not want to work with you. I do my work in intensives. We do whole blocks of time. We work for entire days at a time, and we do one day, and then we do the creating piece. I have structured my business and the way I work for a reason, and my clients like it. If you don't like that, well, then you're not going to want to work with me, and then you can go find somebody else, right? And no hard feelings, just this is the way I work. This is why I work this way. This is the benefits that brings. If that's not what you want or how you want to work, God bless you, go forward and find someone else to solve your problem. When you become a magnet and you've got a big enough brand, people are going to want to work the way you work. And you're just attracting people who naturally are drawn to your style and your method. So why you, why this, why your solution is right for them, and why now, that's content that helps them understand that they're going to take action now and have a bigger benefit. It helps them understand the impact that this problem is having in other areas of their life and their business. So, quick recap. As we enter a recessionary environment, people become more conscious about classifying their purchase into 4 Where do your solutions fall? Does your content support that your solution is either essential or it's a treat, something that they are willing to justify making? Your messaging, your content is going to help them make these choices and decide to work with you. You're going to create content that will stand the test of time. It will help you survive this recessionary period and come out the other end thriving. You're going to create content that answers the big WAQ questions, want to ask questions, and you're going to also focus on the core 3 W's: why you, why this, why now. And that is the body of your content, your marketing collateral. You're going to answer those core questions. All right, so hope that has been helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them. I'm happy to respond. If you want any of the things I've mentioned, mention that too. And this is Friday, as I record this, it's content co-creation time for my group of clients. And so I'm talking to you now. Get cracking on getting your content planned for next week and working on whatever piece of content you're working on. All right, it's been Winnie Anderson, brand and content strategist, working with service professionals to help them get their content out, build their brand, and attract pre-sold clients so they shorten their sales cycle with no selling involved, and they help their clients decide to buy. I'll catch up with you in another video soon. Bye for now.